Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of the Amplify You challenge. I'm Kellow-Webb, and it's a real pleasure to be back again. And we're going to dive into amplifying your inner courage today. It is something that I'm very passionate about because I believe that everybody was born with courage and not fear. Fear is something that has been learnt. So we want to learn today how to redress the balance between fear and courage. And just want to recap quickly before I dive into that on yesterday's live. So I hope that you got some real insights yesterday and started taking some action, started practicing the 3 R's, and started forgiving yourself for the misperceptions and illusions that you've carried around that have created the internal blocks and challenges and let's call them the restrictions on actually being able to amplify your inner resources and create the experiences that you want and you deserve. Because I 100% believe that everybody deserves to be mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually free. Um, and that's the real root cause driver for the Amplify You process. And without further ado, let's talk about courage, okay? Because when I talked about courage in the past, I thought courage was something that explorers displayed, or people who um, exhibited huge feats of physical and um, practical demonstrations overcoming something that was quite significant. Courage was something that I would associate with people who went into to battle, the armed forces, um, possibly elite sportsmen, people who undertook, huge um, endurance races, possibly set up massive corporations. It was seen at the extreme of human endeavor that I kind of allowed myself to associate courage with. And what I realized was that courage exists on a spectrum, and there are huge demonstrations of courage, but there are also really small daily demonstrations of courage um, that we all display on a regular basis, but we don't acknowledge them, we ignore them, we don't give them any kudos or credit. So we're going to dive in today at looking at how we can amplify those inner resources of courage that we all possess, and how we can raise our courage awareness in order to redress the balance with fear. Courage is the antithesis of fear, it is the opposite. Now, we can't overcome fear completely and get rid of it because it is a natural um, reflex. We need fear to keep us safe and protect us. But what has happened is that what we've done is we've amplified fear. So what we want to do today is we want to ignore the fear kind of stuff and turn our attention to amplifying our inner resources of courage and confidence, if you like. So this is important because if we can understand how fear is operating, what the process is, and if we can be more aware, more understanding, we can therefore take the necessary steps and um, lessons and put them into solutions. Okay, long lasting solutions. And this is about cultivating that inner courage. This is about going on a journey to become more confident, more courageous. It doesn't just happen overnight. Okay, It may do, but in my experience, it was something that I had to pay attention to, and I had to commit myself towards it. And what we're going to do is just think a little bit what's happening. So this is kind of following on from yesterday, how fear kind of penetrates the mind. And what we've got to understand is that a lot of our fears exist in our subconscious mind. They're old programs, they're old patterns, they're old habits, they're old belief systems that have been embedded into our subconscious. And they've kind of filtered through our conscious mind, which only develops at the age of 7. So remember that. So from the age of 0 to 7, it's just unconscious. There's no way of filtering out the good, the bad, the right, the wrong, the true or the false. It just all gets lumped into our subconscious, which we kind of embody. And we receive that, and we're prone to that. We're exposed to that throughout our life, from what people say, what we read, what we see, what we're taught. But once the conscious mind starts to formulate, we have the ability to filter. We can choose what we want to accept and what we want to reject. But by and large, a lot of the time is we are unaware of what we're doing. So we just accept pretty much willy-nilly. Okay. And a lot of our acceptance is based on what our subconscious is saying to us, and also what we are encouraged to accept because of our environment, because of what's around us. So we need to become more aware. We need to become more aware, because what is happening with fear is that we are deciding to choose something different. Okay. Let's use an example. I'm going to set up my own business. I'm going to go self-employed. Good morning. Right. I'm just going to pause there. I'm going to see if I can get it onto the chat today. Okay. I'm just going to say good morning in the chat. Okay. See if that goes. Right. And somebody's just said they're a Facebook user. Fine. Good morning. So thank you for that comment. I finally managed to work it out. New technology. Great to have you. Great to have you here, whoever you are, because it's not giving me your name, and I think that's a setting that is governed by the restream, or it might be on Facebook. So if you want to say good morning, it's John, Jane, whoever. That'll be great. So let's just go back to that thing of you decide to take a different course. You decide to become self-employed. You want to set up your own business, and you go, right, I'm going to set this up. And that is a powerful decision. But a lot of people don't follow through, because what happens is that goes through into the subconscious mind, and all of these old belief systems then kick that out. You haven't got enough money. It's not the right time. You haven't got enough resources. You're not intelligent enough. You don't have the right confidence. What if? What about this? Blah blah blah, and all the negative reasons for not doing it kick in, because those are old paradigms that are literally floating around in our subconscious, which is really, really, really powerful. So what we tend to do is then go, right, I'm not going to do it. Okay, and then they look back a few years later and go, if only I had. So how can we redress that? Because what happens if we don't understand how fear is operating, and if we don't do something about it, it keeps us trapped. It keeps us locked into an old pattern, an old paradigm, an old way of operating. And as I say, everything happens just on the other side of fear. And if we don't have the resources to tackle those fears, if we don't understand how it's operating, then we're starting at the very back of the field, and it's going to take a long time. So today, I hope you can start that process, because for me, when I realized that I was living a fear-based life, despite all the courageous things I'd done, all the adventures and challenges I'd overcome, I was still allowing fear to dictate my present and my future. And what I think is that the older we get, the more embedded and the more powerful those fear beliefs become, and those doubts and anxieties, because we don't redress them. We literally are pouring fuel on them unless we actually start to confront them. And this is the key thing today. You need to confront your fears. And we need to build our courage awareness, our conscious courage awareness. And this is the start point. This is going to be where you're going to kick off amplifying your courage. And I want to share with you some quick practices, some exercises that you can do that are going to help us, because if we can get it out of us onto a piece of paper, onto a device, whatever, they lose their energy. Okay, they lose their energy. As I said yesterday, the fear reflex is 30 seconds. Okay, it's 30 seconds. That's why an animal gets chased, runs, it escapes 30 seconds, and within 30 seconds, it's kind of back to operating how it was: calm, relaxed, aware, present. But what we do is we keep running around in our head with those fears. What if, what about, why not, um, X, Y, and Z. Okay. So we keep that loop between the mind and the body, which reinforces the fear reflex over and over and over again. So we've got to break the cycle. And this is no different. So we want to break that cycle of fear today. And the quickest way to do it is to really do an identity checklist and identify your fear checklist. Okay. And what we're going to do is identify our courageous past, our experiences, what we've done. Because once we can do that, we can see that there's a yin and a yang, there's a good and a bad, there's a positive and a negative. So the first real task is to sit down with a piece of paper and write down all the things that you feel anxious about, worried about, things that scare you. It might be speaking in public. It might, I don't know, going live on social media in a video format, whatever it is. Write down all those things that you kind of go, well, can't do that, shouldn't do that, that's too scary, I'm not good enough to do that. Write a list. And maybe you just do 5 today, and maybe you do another 5 tomorrow. But you need to start identifying the fears that are holding you back. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2 is to then start casting your mind back to all the things, the positive things that you have achieved in your life. Okay, whether it was learning to walk, whether it was learning to ride a bike, learning to sail, learning to fish, asking somebody out on a date, standing up in front of your class to speak to your classmates, or at university or whatever. And I guarantee you're going to start going, oh, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that. No matter how small. If it took a little bit of confidence, a bit of courage, a bit of putting yourself out there, it is a courageous thing that you've done. Okay. I've, read interactions with people who were really depressed, and just getting out of bed in the morning was a courageous feat, because it would have been so easy, and kind of was my case as well. I could have just gone, I quit, I give up. But I had to get up every day, partly because I was so shit scared of letting anybody else find out. So I forced myself to get up every day and get through the day. But also I had 2 young kids that were relying on me as well. And I had a business to run. So I look back now and go, geez, it would have been so easy just to melt down and just go, I can't do it anymore. And that would have been hugely courageous, because it would have been revealing my vulnerabilities and my deepest, darkest fears. But I actually realized at the time now that I was actually just struggling, fighting each day So that was a courageous thing. It didn't really help me because I didn't seek help, but just that act of getting up every day, facing the world every day, took a lot of courage. Took a lot of courage. So we want to get a balanced perspective. What are our fears? What are our um, courageous score points, really? And look at that and then realize that if you focus on all of the courageous things, the confident things that you've done, your mindset will start to shift. Okay. And what I did was I took all my fears and then I wrote them all down and then I burnt them. And then I decided to just focus on the confident, courageous things. I started to really, really, really amplify my inner resources of courage because the more attention I put on them, the more I could read them, the more I cast my mind back to what I'd achieved and then looked at what I was achieving every single day. Boom, things started to shift very, very quickly. So we need to start amplifying our awareness towards our courage. Okay. And another little tip that may help is to actually keep a courage or confidence scorecard. So I just wrote out the days of the week and I wrote down just 5 things that I wanted to be able to tick off every week that I'd done, whether it be exercise or journaling or maybe doing a social media post or saying to somebody that I really appreciated them. Whatever it is, okay, you can just keep a little scorecard and go, yep, I've done that. I did that. I did. It just might be one thing. It might be 3, it might be 5, it might be 10. But you should be able to look at it at least every day and definitely once a week and go at the end of the week, yeah, I did that. I did that. Okay, because that's building your inner courage, your inner confidence. And we need to pour fuel on our courage. We need to feed it. Okay, so it grows. We need to cultivate it on a daily basis. So that's another thing you can do. And I'm going to share with you one more, which I think is just absolutely critical. And that is when we raise our courage awareness, when we raise our vibration around us, we need to really, really make sure we're doing it in an environment that is supportive. Okay. So I call this raising your courage, your conscious courage awareness. Clean up your environment. If you are being fed fear, doubt, worry, anxiety from others, from the media, from TV, from wherever, you need to clear it up because only you can clear it up. So I would really, really recommend that you take stock of what is permeating around your environment. Are you in a very negative, toxic environment at work, at home? What can you do about it? And instead of just saying, right, I need to stop that, try and find something that you can do positively. So can you go and find a community, an environment? What changes can you make yourself to try and reduce that amount of negativity, that fear that's coming at you? Okay. Maybe it's a way that you respond to people. If they come at you with a lot of fear-based stuff, just say, that's interesting, and ignore them. Because the most important thing is taking responsibility for the levels of inner courage that you want to amplify, that you want to display, because only you can do it. Nobody can help you to become more confident and courageous. They can guide you, but it's got to be a decision. It's got to be an embodiment by you. And it's very challenging to try and appear more confident when somebody says, oh, but you can do it. You're really confident. I tell you, the only way to really, really believe it, own it, embody it, display it, and feel it is to do it yourself, is to have the evidence for yourself. But you've got to create those commitments within. Okay, so try and create a more courageous, confident awareness about yourself and what's going on around you. I stopped listening to the news and the TV. When it comes on the radio, I turn the radio off. I made sure that what I was seeing on social media, if it wasn't positive and empowering, I deleted it. I shut it down. I unfriended people and all that sort of stuff because I wanted to keep it as clean, but as uplifting and powerful and positive as possible. And I've managed to achieve that. It's taken a while, but if I still do it, if there's something there that I think is going to affect my attitude, my mentality, and my emotions, I get rid of it. Okay. This is really, really serious because A, you can. B, when you do, everything starts to change. You start to actually show up as the miraculous, magical, magnificent person you are really inside. And fear is something that doesn't need to hold you back. We can pour fuel on our fear. If we confront our fears, we can see that something is holding us back. That's where we can go and take action. Resolve it. Because if we don't resolve it, it will just amplify. It will keep getting bigger. It will not go away on its own. The leaves have to be swept. The dust has to be cleaned up. It will not go away on its own. They will just multiply. It will just keep growing. So I really, really implore you to find a community, somebody that's supportive. I'm more than happy to do it as well. Okay. Find a community, find people that are supportive, that are going to lift you up. And we've all heard, you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Focus on that, but look to find where you can be boosting your inner courage, your inner resources of courage and confidence as much as you possibly can. It takes work. It takes commitment. It is a will, because the fear paradigm, the fear programs that we have harbored within us for years and years and years are really, really powerful. But I promise you, you can change those. You can change them. And I was changing them without kind of really understanding how fear was operating, what was going on. But as soon as I went, right, here are all my fears, can I write down all the things that I was courageous about? The light bulb went on. I went, oh my God, I've been focusing on that. That's what has been determining my life, despite all those other things. It was something that was just festering deep inside, like a virus. Okay. And we need to use that virus, okay, to ignite our courage. We need to pour the courage antidote onto that fear virus. And then we can start to really, really magnify, amplify the incredible people that we all are. And you might go, well, I haven't achieved this. Do you know what? I used to say the same thing. It's not about what you have achieved. It's just about accepting that you are right now truly, truly magnificent. What your body is doing, what you're able to think, what you're able to share and give and achieve in the past, right now, and in the future is quite extraordinary. And we need to try and raise that and expand that and grow that. Not because we need to be better, but it's because we deserve to experience all of that magic in our lives right now. So just shared a few key things that you can start to do. Those 2 exercises are life transforming. They will get you kick-started to growing your inner courage, to really amplifying that innate inner resource that you were born with. You were not born riddled with fear. Okay. Fear is a subtle little virus that's just been growing and being fed to you. And when you understand that, then you can see that, oh, that's just a program. Okay, that's just a mind thing. And I can counteract that with another mind thing, because right in your heart is where the real courage lies. Okay. Courage is heartfelt. It comes from the heart, from the deep within. And that's what we were born with. That's our birthright, if you like. So I hope that helps. I hope that starts to kickstart your self-belief, your confidence, your courage, um, your actions, your behaviors, your inner self-talk, all of those sort of things, because it's available, it's possible. And if you commit to it, and if you just start taking those small little actions, in a year's time, 6 months' time, 3 months' time, 2 weeks' time, you might look back and go, bloody hell, things are starting to shift. Okay. But you've got to be willing to engage with the courageous inner you and start really, really turning up the dial on that courage, because you deserve it. Before I go today, just want to say that Friday is a big announcement on Friday. Got something huge that I'm going to start rolling out to everybody in the community and everybody else who's interested. And there is just so much that is going to be beneficial to people anywhere in the world, anytime. And this has been germinating for many years, and finally had the courage to go, you know what, I'm going to do it. So you never know. Stay tuned. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that was of value. Stick any comments, any questions in the chat or in the comment section on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. More than happy to engage and share as much as I possibly can. Look forward to your company tomorrow, 11 a.m. UK time. See you there. Have a fantastic rest of the day, evening, morning, wherever you are. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you soon. Bye for now.